really mean that, you will start to see a perception that's beautiful beyond your greatest imagination. Woo!
Thank you.
Now, it's certainly easier for me to say I made my perception than to work 8 hours in the hot sun. But people would rather work 8 hours in the hot sun than say I made my own anger. I make my own guilt. I make my own fear. I make my own happiness. I make my own love. I make my own peace. People would rather suffer than admit that they're doing it to themselves. And then as soon as they can admit they're doing it to themselves, then the answer can arrive and you can be healed in an instant. That's the answer. And when you hear it today or 30 years from now, it's up to you. The beautiful part is the answer will be waiting. The answer will always be waiting. But in the meantime, the answer will be partying like a big dog. Like when I'm giving an answer like y'all saw me do today, I'm going to try to have as much fun as I can in the next 24 hours. So even if the people who don't want to accept that and let themselves have joy, that's their right. But you owe it to them to let yourself be happy with the truth that you know until they're ready to join you in your joy. And that will increase it. You don't suffer with them. You show them the alternative to suffering. They're already seeing people suffering with them. If you join the suffering, I don't care how noble your cause, you're not presenting them with an alternative perspective. And that's what you're here to do. Show me another way it can be. I want to see a woman unlike a woman I've ever seen before. I want to see a man unlike a man I've ever seen before. I want to be a man unlike the man I've ever been before. I want to see a different perception. I don't want to see the same thing in another form.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't need another growing around that saying, if you're approaching your relationships, I don't care how new they may be to you, the same way you approached all the other ones, which was unrealistic expectations of somebody else making you happy, you're going to end up in the same place sooner or later, disillusioned and mad at somebody that you think you're going to have to forgive. I don't care how romantic it looks right now. If you're looking at that person as your salvation only in a way that makes them there to complete you, you're in the old paradigm, and you're going to give yourself pain again at some point. And I want you to make the conscious choice to not go through pain and suffering anymore by admitting that God hasn't made you suffer. Nobody in your life has made you suffer. It was the dream you were dreaming based on the idea that you were guilty or sinful. And that idea that you're guilty and sinful that was given to you, some of you, from the time you were children, is creating the crap in your life that you don't like right now because you don't know you are a creator who creates with your thoughts. And if you have the thought of sin, guilt, and separation and not being enough, you will create a life that will reflect that back to you, blame everybody else for it, and perpetuate your own misery. And you can stop that today. You know why you can do it today? Because it's a change of interpretation. It's a change of perception. It'd be different if I was telling you had to move everything out of your house to somebody else's house tonight. It'd be different if I told you had to have a degree in order to create this, because we like long-range plans that allow us to suffer until we have what we want. Because that's all that happens in the future stuff is saying, I'm not ready to be happy today. I think I did something wrong. I need about 3 weeks of suffering, and I'll have my happiness. 3 weeks from now, I'll go on vacation. 3 weeks from now, I'll go on vacation, then I'll be happy. What about that intervening 3 weeks? Well, those are 3 weeks that I'm suffering. I got to pay for that vacation through my suffering. Then when I go on vacation, I say, I deserve the vacation. Why? Because maybe you don't know what's going on. See, I got to pay for my pleasure with some kind of suffering. So I create pain to feel justified and let myself have a good day. Isn't that insane? But we're dreaming it up. We're dreaming it up. But you know what I learned about a dream? I noticed that in a dream, anything can happen. In a dream, anything can happen. That's what makes some dreams to us. We'll go, you walking one minute, you flying the next. You don't think that's weird in a dream. You've already been trained to be unlimited in a dream. You've already been trained to believe everything is possible in a dream. Your life would change faster if you saw it was a dream. And if you saw it as a dream, much faster than if you thought it was real. Because if you think it's real, you believe it can't change. It's the way it is. It's real. You're in a world that everything changes. You know that's true because nothing you've ever had has ever lasted. You know that's true. That's not theoretical. That's not even something to argue about. Would you like something permanent? Yes. Well, how do I get through the permanent? How do I get to the permanent joy? How do I get to the permanent love? I use everything in my life that's temporary to bring me love. I use every temporary thing for love, to give it and receive it. So I love everything in my life. I love my car, I love my house, I love my shoes, I love my pants, I love my, I just love everything. Then you don't have to figure out what